Hello and welcome back to Game Start. I'm your host, Bardic Knowledge, and apparently the chest that I missed in Denadora Mountains was the silver stud that I thought I had gotten when I picked up the silver earrings. Way back then. Kinda wish I had gotten it, because that cuts MP costs in half, and that could have made things a little easier in places. But no use crying over spilled milk, because the bucket does not take you right back to the gate you used to leave Lavos. Because if you leave Lavos' shell, you go to the end of time at the bucket. Instead, it takes you to 1999. And this is all the sound you get. Until... "1999 at 1:24. Data confirmed." Apparently we know the time of day that the Day of Lavos happened, but not the month or actual day. That worked out a lot better than I expected. Unable to calculate attack level value. Because it has none! Lavos. Of course we're gonna choose fight, because we've already fought the first part. Ayla not run, Ayla fight! Let us go. And then they're just, Lavos has hold! I sense a powerful life force within Lavos. Ayla no give up. So yeah, it treats as if you've never encountered Lavos after the Black Omen. But this, regardless of how long it's going to take, will be the final episode of Chrono Trigger on this channel. And I was fortunate, in going through some of my old stuff, to have found the discs for Chrono Cross. But that is not what's going up after I'm done with this. I'll explain that later, after the episode reaches its conclusion. So let's conclude, shall we? You can notice the heartbeat starts to speed up in the background there. And I'm gonna play this on the big screen. Because I can, and it's the epic final battle. A little less epic for the tactics I'll be using, though. So now we face Inner Lavos. Amazing. It houses all the DNA of every creature that ever lived. Ayla not give up. And World Revolution is one of the best tracks in this entire game. So glad they put it in Theatrhythm Curtain Call. Okay, that was a significant amount of damage. Robo, heal us. Ooh, Yaka, look at that damage to the arms. So I'm gonna... Chrono Trigger... Lavos... Just so I can, oops. Tell you what everyone else says when you encounter Lavos. Oh, nope, that's not it. There we go. So I'll read those off after we're done with Inner Lavos. Which, if you'll notice, is still just labeled Lavos. Dang, Ayla, stop being marginally faster. Because there's before fighting Lavos body. Oh, okay, which is this part. That is not the name I use for it. I've always called it Inner Lavos, because it's the inside of Lavos. Oh, there goes one arm. Now it can't open the doors of doom on its chest. Span Death. Interesting name. Oh, Protective Seal disables defense status. Okay, that reduces Chrono's defense. But I don't know by how much. Once we get rid of this other arm... Okay, Robo, I think you're safe to attack the arm. I don't think that's gonna work, Lavos. We've got good gear. Oh, it did. But Robo managed to take it out anyway. Obstacle. This is the attack. It basically adds... It's like Bad Breath from Final Fantasy. It adds every status effect to your party. And... Excuse me. Because I always had Amulet on Magus, and I usually brought Magus to the final battle, I would wind up with him... The one time I took it off, he wound up getting confused. And I'm like, what? He's never been confused at this before. What happened? Chrono's getting status effects left, right, and center. What the heck happened there, boy? What did I take off of him? Or not have on him at all? Oh well, too late to find out. Come on, I just got Robo back up to full. Hey look, this is Boo Boo. I hope that puts him on a total ending in 9. Did not. We'll heal beam again. But I don't want Chrono to be carrying this fight. I want Robo to Uzi Punch. Evil Emanation. Tailspin does nothing. Ah well. Ending at a 7's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty much the only reason Ayla is the weakest of us is just because I can't upgrade her weapon manually. It only goes up to its next stat at level 72. Another obstacle. Yep, somehow Chrono does not have a way to resist status effects on him. Why would I do that? Probably one of my favorite things about World Revolution is the fact that the music rotates in my headphones. Hey, there it goes. Interlavos is defeated. And I can't pause right now. I am surprisingly good at that. And here we meet the core. And before I read this, so before you fight the Interlavos, the characters would say in order, Magus, finally you have met your match, Lavos. This is Lavos? This is the real thing? Amazing, it houses all the DNA of every creature that ever lived. Cyrus, this be our final battle. Ayla not give up. That's the order in which they are said, depending on who you have in your party. So the before here, I will actually read these out before I read these out, because well, they kind of go over each other. But basically everybody has something to say about this. So, Luca, I'll read the ones for the people who aren't here first, and then we'll get some overlapping data, or not data, overlapping information based on what there is being said to them, by them after. So, now I understand. It lives on a planet for as long as possible, stealing away the most vital resources. It combined the DNA it found here with its own, and gave birth to those creatures up on Death Peak. Eventually, the young must migrate to other planets to repeat the cycle. So, since the dawn of time, it has slept underground, controlling the evolution on this world for its own purpose.
It's humanoid. It seems like it's collected all of the vitality from the creatures who have lived on this planet.
This be evil indeed. This thing possesseth, that is not a word, the vitality of all living creatures it hath harvested DNA from, animals, only to further its own evolution, and while sleeping to boot.
Are you saying it's the reason we're all here?
Grown like farm animals, waiting to be slaughtered. All of our history, our art and science, all to meet the needs of that beast. It is too much to bear. We've been reared like farm animals, our lives hath been for naught. We were created only to be harvested, all people and all living things.
This is Chrono's, and ours, Lean's and Doan's, everyone's, and I mean everyone's world.
Impossible. You can't expect to toy with an entire world and get away with it. My life retaineth its meaning. We haveth our own will. It's over for you. Your life ends here. So that was everyone except Robo and Ayla in the order that they are said. So now for what Robo and Ayla say. This was Lavos' goal. Using the DNA of every organism and achieving the ultimate in evolution. Attack value is off the scale. It's shorting out my senses. Me no run. Ayla no run away. Worse than losing. Human hands created me, which means I am a product of that thing. I am no different than Luca and the others. I am a part of all living things. Ayla strong. Ayla and world. Good. You outsider, not part of planet's life. And there's a secret to this fight. And it's that the one in the center isn't actually the Lavos core. So, let's see, if I remember right, the one I need to target first over here. Nope. It's one, okay. Lavos core shuts off its defenses. That's what I was waiting for. Oh, and we're not healed. So while Robo is Uzi punching. Okay, good, that didn't affect Chrono at all. Ayla will Mega Elixir to restore our MP. And I don't remember how much HP this thing has, of course. Ooh. That was pretty nasty. Do it again. I had the wrong person do it. Your defense isn't raised yet. I should have had Ayla use the Mega Elixir since Chrono's got the higher attack stat. Active Life decreases defense power. So what happens is, you've got the defense core on the left, the attack core in the center, and then the life core on the right. And in order to attack the life core, you have to take down either the defense or attack cores, because they have the it was very disappointing. They have so many Mega Elixirs. Hopefully there'll be enough. But, because the defense core will heal, whereas the attack core only attacks. And I'm actually going to take it out because I'm tired of it lowering. Oh. It raised its defense. And then it goes, oh crap, my bit's gone. Better lower my defense again. Because it has to lower its defense in order to revive its bit. There, next time it restores its bits, it will restore both bits. Oh, Robo's HP dropped a bit. So yeah, the reason why I picked this team for this fight is 'cause you can cheese it! And with that, I win. I have successfully beaten Chrono Trigger with the second best ending. The best ending is to feed all the cats. But as I stated before, that is not something that I generally do in this game. And wow, that is a lot of bright flashing lights. And I just realized that I did not watch the upper screen while I was fighting that battle. I was watching the recording again. Oh well. At least that way it looked like I was looking directly in front of you instead of looking up. Chrono. 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 It's time to rise and shine. We have a little surprise for you. Your stay of execution has been cancelled. We must now carry out your sentence. And then you get the creepy music. We've been looking for you, Chrono. Where did you take my daughter?
Daddy, don't! Chrono hasn't done a thing.
She says Chrono has been a perfect gentleman. But what do you think, Chancellor? Chrono's deeds have had an enormous impact on the kingdom.
Chancellor, how could you? Please, just listen to me. We had to...
Save the future, right?
Huh?
I preempted that. You saved the future and gave us hope. You fought Magus's troops and brought peace to the kingdom in the year 600. Chrono beat Reptites.
Ooh, what's going on here? Luca, you brought them here, didn't you?
Our kinsman told me all about your incredible mission.
Kinsmen? You mean these are my ancestors? And descendants?
Here I was fussing about my kingdom and my daughter, and you were saving past, present, and future. Now, for a true victory parade, tonight we celebrate you. Now, Morrow, go out and enjoy the last night of the fair. And I believe that's the only time he doesn't call her Nadia. Oh, that was something I did forget to do, was go back to Medina Village and show how Ozzy's defeat changed things, but basically everyone is much friendlier. You don't have to fight anyone or get the raised costs of them hating on humans, and an imp is the mayor instead of Ozzy the seventh, I think it is. Anyway. Come along with Chrono, our hero. Princess Nadia is finally home. At last, Guardia's back to normal. It's a moonlight parade! How long the Chancellor was setting this up for. Pretty sure... Yep, I don't have to touch a thing at this point. I just have to progress the dialogue boxes. I wonder if there are more cats in the parade if you actually feed the cats, or if that's just Cadillac from the race at the start. And now we have control, with Marl leading the way. You saved us all? That's nice, dear, but I wish you spent more time around the house. It's a real problem when the person who's in charge of the cat is gone. Then... Yum! Lemonade sure tastes great outdoors. Chrono, have a sip, you're the hero today. Obviously wasn't lemonade in the original translation, or in the original, but... Honey, don't just be a sack of potatoes, dance with me. Chrono, the king says you saved the future. Wait till I tell my friends. Hey, Luca had a huge hand in it. If it wasn't for Luca, we never would have managed any of it. Not much business in weapons anymore, but I like it that way. And then we move on. And with whenever we step over each of those dots, something happens. Because now, it's time to say farewell. Well, everyone, this is it. Each to thine time. The gate has grown weak. We've got to say our goodbyes before the gate closes.
You're all leaving?
Chrono was strong. Marl too. Ayla have fun.
You're my distant ancestor, so you'd better have tough kids, or I'll be in trouble.
No worry. Ayla very strong.
Right. Hey, what do you mean by that?
Kino dummy, we go now. That line is the, apparently the reason why there's a theory that throughout the entire adventure Ayla is supposedly pregnant. I don't much buy into that one. I talked about that ages ago. But... anyways. 'Tis a feisty crowd, but they are thine kin, and 'tis of consequence. Queen Lean awaits. Your Majesty, we too shall take our leave. And he doesn't say anything.
Mr. Frog?
Long farewells ne'er were necessary.
Right. Besides, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, don't these things end with the princess kissing the frog?
So, you're going to search for Shauna?
Never doesn't say a word. And finally, Luca, I will miss you.
What's wrong, Luca? Aren't you going to say goodbye to Robo?
She knows.
Knows what?
Robo was born in a bleak future. When we defeated Lavos, we changed history. Robo may not exist in the future. Please relax. The new future has a place for me. Darn it, Robo, don't pretend you don't care when you're really sad. It just makes things worse. Don't know why I'm giving her an accent. Luca, you have taught me these emotions. Thank you.
Tears don't become you, Luca. Robo will be there in the new future.
Goodbye. Caution! Oil has washed over my sight senses. Sight diminished. Because he's crying. I didn't need to spell that out, but I wanted to. Do you remember that talk we had?
You mean about whether our lives flash by before we die?
Yeah. I get the feeling that the entity is finally at rest.
Yes, I feel that too. Time travel. How exhausting.
We should dismantle the Epic. Its job is finished. You naughty thing, come back here. Look, Chrono, your cat's running away because you haven't been feeding it. Hey, come back here.
Oh, great! Chrono, that gate will never open again!
I was always confused by that, but it's like, yes, no more mom. But, well, it looks like we have no choice but to go after them.
Go after them? The gates!
Oh, did I read those backwards?
Looks like we have no choice but to go after them.
Go after them, but the gates...
Luca, don't turn off your brain yet.
I forgot! We have a time machine! Nyahaha! Oh, Princess. The king asks for your presence. So if you decide to take the Epic to the Day of Lavos, you smash it straight through the shell with it, destroying the Epic and skipping that boss rush moment. I only ever did it once. I'm so happy. Now there's no reason for you to go away anymore. I have a gift for you to commemorate this day, Princess Nadia. With helium balloons on it to make it lighter, apparently. This is Nadia's bell. It will ring out across the land. Maru, where did you go? Oh, I guess she says it twice. Could someone please lend me a hand?
Daddy, I hate to say this, but I can't sit around doing nothing.
And that's us taking off in the Epic. And then it's pure credit sequence. No dialogue after this. Phew, made it just in time. Shall I fire one off? No, Tevin, actually I could use your help. Oh, I didn't even have to push any buttons for that. So, of the various endings, if you don't have the Epic, then you can't go flying off after Chrono's mom. And I don't quite remember how things play out on that front. But if you also didn't revive Chrono, then Maru grabs hold of the balloons that were holding up the bell and goes flying off into the sky, and at the end of the credits lands on the tree on top of Death Peak somehow. So this is Super Nintendo graphics for you. Vaguely 3D. But that music... Probably gonna be quiet for a lot of this just because I love the music. I've said it repeatedly, but I do. And it's been quite a journey for all of us. I hope. At the very least, it's been one for me, going back through this game after a few years. The sequence makes the world look a lot bigger than it actually was when playing. So here in the future, we have Robo and Asherpost reunited. Prehistoric times, Ino and Ayla. Now if you killed Magus, instead of this scene, you get a scene of Glenn standing under a waterfall before turning back into his human form. Then there's Magus, hunting for Shala. He sort of finds her in the DS re-release. Sort of. Because there's a special side quest you can do where you run into another universe's Magus in a space between time. And, he winds up getting banished by what he finds there in addition to Shala. And then you have to fight that boss. And you can do that while Magus is in your party, so there's two Maguses there simultaneously. The ticking clock. I grew up with a grandfather clock. Sort of. My grandma had one. But Mom and Dad didn't. But I spent a lot of time at Grandma's, so I grew up with a grandfather clock, and I've always... the ticking in the background has always felt comforting to me because of that. When I'd spend the night at Grandma's, I'd fall asleep listening to the tick. Ted Woolsey. He was a fun translator. I don't think he's working for, Square America or whoever was in charge of translations anymore, but unfortunately my new grandfather clock doesn't tick loud. It does play the Westminster chimes, but only the first 3 parts of it. It doesn't do the last part, and it bugs me every once in a while when I stop and actually listen to the chimes. But, anyways. So what's happening next for this channel is I've got a big backlog of episodes that were recorded between, I believe it was episode 10 of Chrono Trigger and 11, where things were bad quality to, where they were better quality, and I started wearing a suit. Well, sort of a suit. And I'm going to be uploading those, and I will be inserting them in the playlist back to where they're supposed to be instead of after this episode. And they'll have their own playlist as well, same as the Chrono Trigger episodes. But, yeah. So, that's Chrono Trigger's finale for you. I hope you had a good time. And, till the next, live well.